Hello, boxing fans. What's going on? This is Jay Street with Jay Street Sports, and we're back for part two of our boxing talk and news that we had started earlier today. Um, we started a session at 2:30. We went for about 2 hours. Um, Good talk, good discussion, and I said we would be back at 7:40. Well, I had said 7:30, but I started it at 7:45 um, after I had to do a few things. But yeah, we're gonna definitely come back. Not for sure if we're gonna have new people or some of the same, but we're gonna discuss, about the news of, and you gotta take it with a grain of salt, but Bob Arum and all those guys are talking about February. They're going to target Super Bowl weekend, Tyson Fury and Usyk. And they're already talking about a 50-50 split and all this and that. I mean, I guess I'm gonna wait for other people to come up before I start to share my views on that as well. Um, I don't even know if I would be, seriously looking forward to it or not. We'll see. We'll see how everything going to shake out. We're also going to talk about Zerto getting arrested. We didn't get a chance to get into that earlier. And the only reason we bringing up his outside affairs is because he has a fight coming up, the biggest fight of his career with Bivol. So we're going to definitely talk about that. Also, we may speak about Hasim Rothman Jr. signing to fight Vitor Belfort, MMA fighter, retired MMA fighter, on October 15th in Sheffield, England. So we're going to discuss it, that topic that we didn't get a chance. Also, I want to do a little, see how people feel about the fight on October the 15th when we have Anthony Durrell fight Caleb Plant. We're going to talk about that fight as well. So we got a few different things to discuss that we didn't discuss earlier. And I believe it's going to be same old, good conversation. We got Sebastian up here. Sebastian, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, man. Back for part two
Yeah.
of our discussion. I was just saying that basically what we were going to talk about was about the Mark Kriegel report about February in Saudi Arabia, the Tyson Fury and Usyk discussions. Um, Also, we're going to talk, and he has a, speaking of Bob Arum, he has a good working relationship with Egis Kilman. So, um, that it shouldn't be any problems there if they can get the money. The only thing that's kind of hurting the fight in a way is what if Saudi Arabia or one of those countries isn't available for the fight because Tyson Fury can't travel to America. So it's a couple roles blocked. All right, Cozy, I'll definitely drop that. Cozy didn't come in last time. Let's see here. Get it here. Let me see. 1 second. Hold on. Have to get an assistant to do this, huh? VF. All right. Cozy is right there for you, man. So you can come right in and join in with us. But yeah, man. So hopefully we could get some clarity on what's going to happen as far if that fight get made. Also, I think it's okay to discuss a little bit of Errol Spence and Crawford. It's been extremely quiet. Sometimes that's good, although there's been a few little leaks. But we're gonna probably discuss that. Also, Hasim Rockman Jr. gonna fight Vitor Belfort October
Mhm.
15th out in Sheffield, England. Um, one of those MMA boxer fights.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I think that Vitor Belfort got a better shot at beating Rockman than Jake Paul. So you gotta be careful taking those fights because if you lose them, I mean, your credibility is gone. Cozy, what's going on, man?
I'm good. How you, Julius? How you? And
Good.
Sebastian, nice
Hey,
to
what's
meet
up?
you, man.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. I know last time you was just in the chats. Thank you for joining. We're gonna discuss a few things as far as the Tyson Fury situation, what they're talking about, if they can get some people together for a fight, so that they can fight in February, him and Usyk. Bad style matchup too.
Yeah,
Um,
I imagine it being
that
a
could end
very
up being
boring
a
fight.
real stinker.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. I talked to my friend about it. He says he
Mhm.
thinks that Usyk. He told me like word for word. He's like Usyk is gonna finish what Cunningham started, but I don't know if it's gonna play out like that.
I don't know if it's gonna play out like that too, because it got stinker written all over it, and Tyson Fury could clinch the whole entire
Yeah,
situation
man.
away too. It could really become a ugly fight. I think sometimes people don't realize, of course, y'all guys do, that heavyweight fights can be the worst type of stinkers. You
Yeah.
know, so uh, gotta be careful on that particular fight. Also, I want to talk about Zerto. Getting arrested for drinking and throwing things over the balcony, leading up to the Bivol fight. Um, you know,
According to
so
Polo, that's old news. I don't know if you're talking
it
about Conor
is
McGregor. He
could
said it's old, but I don't know. Still a bad
okay,
look.
could be. Even if it is old news, he's going to court about it. So we need to
Yeah.
discuss it, mindset, because one thing that I never like is for a boxer to be a drinker. That's
Yeah. I
something I
agree.
don't like. A boxer being a drinker isn't like you know a baseball player or a basketball player that maybe had something to drink. I mean, you getting liver and kidney shots. So anyway, we're gonna definitely discuss that as well. Because that deserves a little attention to see what's going on in that situation with Zerto. Also, we just a couple weeks away from another fight billed as the
Mhm.
biggest women fight in boxing history, the Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, and the fight with Baumgartner and Mayer. As a
Mhm.
matter of fact, only reason why I'm thinking of that fight is because Michaela Mayer's boyfriend, Marquette King. Y'all familiar with football, NFL a little bit?
Yeah, he was a punter, right, for the
That's
Raiders.
right. He was a punter with a whole lot of pizzazz, and you know what I'm saying. He had some spunk to him, and people didn't really like it. And he actually got blackballed out of the NFL since like 2018, 2019.
Yep.
This guy was averaging 47 yards a punt. He was like the top punter in the NFL, and they just exiled him because of his style and because he got into it with John Gruden, who's also been exiled out of the league with all those emails and stuff. So anyway. So the Buffalo Bills kicker got caught up in a scandal with a gang rape situation, and he got cut from the team. And Buffalo is looking for a punter, and Marquette King name has been brought up. So in that, I thought about Michaela Mayer and her big situation coming up with Baumgartner. And I know we had talked about it before, but I hadn't heard your take on it, Sebastian. So let's go ahead and dig into the situation, though. But before we do that,
Mhm.
Cozy, go ahead. I think you wanted to talk about Big Baby Anderson. So go ahead and chime in because I saw you talking about it and you didn't get a chance. And me and Sebastian has set our piece on it. Go ahead, man, and tell us what you think about him last night and what you think of him going forward.
Yeah. So I appreciate that, Julius.
Yep.
Um, So I saw him this morning. I saw the replay, and Jared Anderson is good. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He has talent. You can see, I like that he seems to be poised in the pocket. Now, it's very easy to do that when you're fighting the level of competition he's fighting, because clearly the guys that they're putting in at top rank for him are not. I mean, you know, they're ranked, but what are they? 56, 201, whoever. You know what I mean? Like, they're no. I don't want to say nobody's. We know we don't know them, right? He has talent, but the thing about Jared Anderson that concerns me, and y'all tell me if you see this too, there's nothing, not one particular thing he does special. He does everything pretty good. Like, he has pretty quick hands. They're not elite, no type of elite speed. His defense is pretty good, but he gets caught. He stays in line. You know what I'm saying? For return fire a lot of the time. He's strong. He's pretty strong, but he's not like super strong or anything like that. He's got pretty good knockout power, but it's not like Wilder or even a Joshua coming up. So my question for him is, when he steps up in the competition to say, and I'm going to bring up a name that you often talk about, Julius, Joe Joyce. I just wonder how he would fare against a guy like that who's going to have some return fire, able to take more than one punch in round 2 and get up from it or something like that. It's going to be tough because I think Ronnie said it earlier, and it was a good point he brought up. He hasn't really been in deep waters, right? I mean, it's 1-2 round fights. We got to see how that gas tank is in the later rounds, because if you go back and look at AJ's first 15 fights, AJ looked like a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? He's just knocking everybody out easy. So, yeah, I'm not sold on Jared Anderson. I know I don't know if you saw this, but Timothy Bradley had his double stamp prospects, whatever the list, and he had Jared Anderson and Xander Zayas and all these people in there.
Yeah. Xander is another guy that I'm like, just like you is about Jared, I got my concerns, but Xander, I'm probably even less into what he's gonna do because of the weight class he in. But go ahead on Jared. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, just no. Just the last thing I was gonna say is he has a right to his opinion as far as who he believes are great prospects or double stamp, so to speak. I just don't see it with Jared Anderson. Not saying that he can't do it. I'm just saying I gotta see more. So I'd want to see him in there with like a Charles Martin. I'd want to see him in there with Chris Arreola, Dominique Brazil. I'm just saying some sort of step up a little bit. These names aren't great, but I'm just saying they're even better than what we saw last night. I mean, just to touch on it real quick, Richard Torres, that was shameful what we saw there last night. I mean, that guy, like you said, they picked him up, you know what I'm saying, from taking out luggage from the airport and told him, come on down, get you $3,000, man. I know he's working for Delta, man, but hey, bro, you know what I'm saying, this is a good bonus for you. So, yeah, you know, that whole top-ranked stable, man, I just got to see them fight somebody, because the guys they fight, they're not only not good, they're not athletic, they're not strong, they pose no threat. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, they're going to look great, but it's like, what are they going to do long-term? So, yeah.
Hey, man, I share all those concerns that you say. I was thinking of an opponent that I like to see Jared fight, and they're European guys, just like those, those guys you said, but, a Dillian White type, because even Dillian White and some of those guys are step-ups from Otto Whalen, which might be more than he can chew.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Might be more than he can chew, but we got to see the steady progress. And the way that Top Rank, who has always had some of the best matchmakers, all that they're doing now is just making showcase fights. Like every single week, we seeing showcase fights. We seeing guys, I mean, look at Edgar Berlanga, a bunch of showcase fights. His step up wasn't even nothing, like he was fighting world champions or something, or even former world champions, and yet he still had a steady decline. So I mean, and I hate to say that because I like Jared Anderson attitude. I like his spirit, but I have to be honest. When you are a small heavyweight like that, you're gonna have to do something exceptional. And normally, punching is the one exception that you need, unless you're gonna be boxing like Chris Bird and able to frustrate guys and turn them and twist them. You get what I'm saying? From a southpaw stance, and when he turns southpaw, he eats shots. I saw that last night. He eat right hands when he turns southpaw. So. Yep. I mean, and going to the body is good as a heavyweight. It's real good. The only difference in fighting as a heavyweight is it's hard to keep a fast pace in a fight and have the endurance. There's been very, very few heavyweights able to go 12 hard rounds and keep a pace up and able to beat guys to the body. I mean, have we really seen those type of guys since Evander Holyfield or Ike Bucci? You know, somebody that can go to the body, stay there, tough, can break you down like that over 12 rounds. Have we really seen those type of guys? So Jared Anderson gonna have to be something special to fight the style that he trying to implement. You can go ahead, Sebastian. You want to
chime in? I think the last well-rounded heavyweight that I liked was Vitaly.
Yeah,
I think his offense was pretty good and whatnot. But he didn't. I mean, I like watching Vitaly fights, but like I always felt like he was always a bit overmatched. Like he doesn't really have any like amazing wins over people, in my opinion.
Right, but you know, he was able to hang in there with Lennox and be very tough. He was real tough, and he always fought to his size. You know, that was the one thing that I liked, was he was physical and he was able to beat you up and take what you dish out. Because I still remember him making Chris Arreola cry in the ring. Like that doesn't get talked about much. You know what I'm saying? He made Chris cry in the middle of the ring. He cried, you know. It's not me trying to pick it. It happened, you know. And that's a good butt whip. You know, when somebody give you a butt whooping and take a grown man to make him cry, man, you really spanked him. So shout out to Vitaly Klitschko and them butt whoopings he used to give out. But yeah, man, Adam Konietzki would be an ideal step-up fight on a 3-loss streak. I mean, you know, that's how far the man's career is. You're right, Ronnie. Adam would be a step-up, although Adam right now look like a guy that's ready to be done boxing. So it could end up look exactly like these other fights that he had, to be honest with you. Adam, I think, need to hang up the gloves. He done had a lot of little wars. I thought that Al Heyman would have served him up to Deontay Wilder at some point when Deontay had the title, because it would have been a fun fight and Adam could have got paid. Now it's just, you know, I think it's over for Adam. I think it's over for him. If y'all want to chime in on Adam Konietzki, you can, but I think it's really over for him.
Yeah, man. I only saw him fight Helenius like last year, and he was getting his ass beat. And he had a low blow out of him like Andrew Golota style to get out.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was a big one too. Yeah. I mean, it definitely was. Definitely, man.
Yeah, Konietzki, listen, man, he just reminds me of like a worse, more out of shape version of Andy Ruiz. You know what I mean? With way less power too. He just, you know, he brought a good crowd. That's why I will say I've been to the Barclays one time when he was fighting on the undercard. I forget who it was, and I promise you, this is just from my eye. Maybe like 1,500, 2,000 people were in the crowd just for him, cheering for him, Polish people. And then as soon as his fight was over, they all got up and left. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why Al Heyman wasn't trying to stir him up, because he's like, man, this guy is a guaranteed 1,500, 2,000 tickets. You know what I'm saying? At the Barclays.
He definitely was coming out of Jersey. Yeah. And let me say this. What's up, Sugar Ray? Now, she was at the fight last night because I was stalking her on her Twitter page, watching what was going on. If you want to come in and talk about what's going on, I put up the link, and I would love to hear what you felt about last night. Even though we had chimed in, I'll chime in again, just so you know, in case you come on in, you can join us. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'm gonna speak for myself. Overall, it ended up being a great card for top ranked, up and coming fighters. But Lord, man, they did a poor job last night on, as far as matchmaking. I mean, it was some mismatches. But if you get a chance, come right on in. I love to hear what you got to say. And was you scared for that guy that Torres knocked out? Because I sure was. And also, I don't know if you saw it, Cozy, but did you see the camera angle? I have to repeat this again, where the ESPN cameras took it right in this guy's face while he was unconscious and legs shaking, and they were like right on him all the way till he walked and stumbled out of the ring on his own accord.
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought it was real strange too, right? He when he was unconscious, when you're unconscious, your body has like reactions that obviously you're in no control of. He's like tearing from the eyes and stuff like that. The guy's putting the ice on his head and on his chest, and he's just out. Like, I don't listen, man. I was scared for him. The last time I think I remember being that favorite maybe was Leo Santa Cruz versus Tank. Or Manny Pacquiao against Juan Manuel Marquez. Those are the last two times that I remember seeing something that bad.
Manny Pacquiao,
Ricky Hatton. Let him walk out the
same
ring.
thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, and they just let him walk out the ring. They made it like there was no. I don't know if they took him to medical right away. I don't know what happened, but it looked crazy.
Yeah, it definitely supposed to be. This ain't me speculating. I know this for a fact. It's supposed to be ambulances and actual MDs, medical doctors at the ringside. And I'm not saying they weren't there, but I'm saying that they was, first of all, when a guy get knocked out like that, normally, and I've been at fights where that happens, guys are put up on a stretcher in those situations because that was a bad knockout. I mean, that was something where he was down for minutes, and it took him a long time to bring him back because he was just
lost control of his limbs, man.
He lost control of all his limbs. I mean, he lost control. He was water coming out of his eyes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you out like that, man, they supposed to put you up on the gurney and take you out of there, put the oxygen on him because you could see his breathing. I mean, it just was a bad look. And Top Rank been in this game forever, had been considered the top promoter forever. You know what I'm saying? So for them, I mean, you got to blame the Oklahoma Commission, but and then people say, someone earlier said to me, well, Julius, they don't have a lot of cards in Oklahoma. That's not true. In Miami, Oklahoma, they used to have a show every month. And most of those shows used to be on Showtime, on Showbox. So they are very used to doing shows in Oklahoma at the casino and other places there. So that's not an excuse. But yeah, man, so we can move on from that. Unless y'all want to share in something else about it.
The only thing I do want to say really quick is I know earlier you said Mason Abdullah, he passed with flying colors. He was getting hit a lot. Go back and watch that fight, getting hit very clean.
No. I said pass with flying colors as far as the level of opposition. He was the only prospect that fought someone that had a pulse. That's what I meant. He fought someone that was trying to win, and it looked like the guy could fight. He was 6-0, 5 knockouts, something like that. And Abdullah, you know, and I'll break down a little bit of it, and you can add it because I know you saw it. He knocked the guy down, if I ain't mistaken, the first 20 seconds of the fight. And I was like, you know, I can do that because I ain't in the ring. So it looked like Abdullah did that, like, oh, I got this. And next thing you know, he was in a dog fight. But what did you see?
Just like I was saying, very competitive fight. I saw things that are good and bad for Mason. Mason's gonna have to get stronger physically. That'll happen with time. But he was kind of getting outmatched a little bit, especially in the corner and against the ropes. He needs to learn how to turn and pivot off the ropes more. And on the inside, he was getting hit with some uppercuts and stuff like that consistently that you don't want to see from him. But he's got a load of talent, really talented southpaw, and I think he's 18. I think both of them were 18.
Yeah, so, yeah, they both are 18. So that's another thing. But let me say this to add something on. And I'm not taking nothing away from his father. Father trained him and his brothers. He got another younger brother that's good. The older brother, he just all right. You know what I'm saying? But let me say this. I think that sometimes when fathers train their children, they don't want any help in that situation. But I think that an extra set of eyes is always good in those situations. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the father, like he can't move a fighter and this and that. But I'm saying, look, man, if we hired a guy to be a first-time head coach at a big-time university, I guarantee you they hire a big-time former head coach to be your top assistant because they're gonna help you because you don't have the experience, and they need an extra set of eyes. This is the same thing that I said about Gary Antoine Russell and Gary Russell. I think that those two guys are talented. I think that the younger brother can fight, but by their father being sick the last 3-4 years, these guys have been training themselves. And now Gary and Big Gary, the 126 pounder, is now going to become the head trainer. I think that Barry Hunter right down the street needs to step in and help. You know what I'm saying? To be that extra set of eyes for them. And there's nothing wrong with help. And I think a lot of times guys don't want the help because it's like someone going to take the credit from them. I don't know what it is, that dynamic, but what do y'all think? You can go first, Sebastian.
Oh, man, I don't know too much about the dynamics, but obviously, you know, losing a dad would obviously change a lot of things in boxers. I'm trying to think about one in history where, like, after they lost their dad, they weren't really the same. I can't think of any. But
well, you know, Shane Mosley went through a little lull when he lost that first fight to Vernon Forrest. If you remember, you know. And remember, he eventually got rid of Jack.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't know. I like the 140-pound Russell. I've seen his fights. I think he's a really good. I think he could go for a world title pretty soon. At the contender level. I haven't seen too much of a 118-pound Russell, but like I don't know, he isn't too active. Like I haven't seen him fight since like last year.
Right.
So it's hard to say.
Right. And remember, he had won a fight. Then his last fight, he was on his way to winning the fight and a headbutt happened. Yeah, definitely. But I think an extra set of eyes will help them. What you think, Cozy?
I 100% agree with you. We just got to look at recent history. Teofimo Lopez and his pops, they suffered a defeat. They look kind of crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? That's not that great. Devin Haney and his dad, that's good. But if you notice, they brought in a second pair of eyes, like you were
all
just
the time.
talking about.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then we can just go down the list. Gabe Flores, who looks like he might end up being out of the sport. His pops is training him. Look at that. You look at what's my man named Josue Vargas out there in New York. Same thing. His pops was training him for a long time. You know, so
that's the one the brother was doing all that crying, right?
Yeah. That's the one that his brother was doing all that crying, and he just got knocked out again by a guy that I've never heard of. You know what I'm saying? So the whole point is they absolutely, if you just learn from history, like there's a saying, it's like a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So you kind of just got to look through history and be like, yeah, maybe we do need a second pair of eyes. It won't hurt, and be receptive to it too. Don't just bring them in and be like, yeah, you stand over to the side. You know what I mean? Bring them in and listen. And I think Barry Hunter is a great suggestion for them.
Yeah, I would love to see it, man, because 140 is a good division. And I think that Russell got real. Well, it ain't no think. I know he got real potential. And he's shown it. He beat a lot of these guys that are getting ready to be fighting in titles. He already beat those guys in the amateurs. He was an Olympian. So, normally you're not an Olympian if you got to have some talent to do that on the international level. And he definitely was able to do it. But I'm hoping that they get an extra set of eyes. Let me jump into a MMA boxing situation. And I don't talk about these normally, but I want to talk about the dangers of boxers losing to the MMA fighters. And that is Hasim Rahman Jr. now on October 15th is going to fight Vitor Belfort, MMA fighter, former UFC light heavyweight, I believe, or heavyweight. And they're going to fight on and the guy that won yesterday, KS1, which I ain't going to lie to y'all. I don't even know this guy. I don't know what he does. But KS1 is going to be one of the promoters.
KSI.
Oh, I see. I thought it was one. That lets you know I don't know anything. But KSI is going to be one of the promoters of the fight in Sheffield, England on October the 15th. What do y'all think about these guys like KSI and those type of guys getting in here fighting real fighters? I guess Rahman Jr. would be considered a real fighter. And what is the drawbacks if these guys start knocking out guys like Rahman Jr. and these guys?
Man, yeah, nah. I don't keep up, with the YouTubers. But let's say, because now you bring up Hasim Rahman Jr., being an actual professional boxer and fighting them. So for people like him and any other YouTuber, or not YouTuber, any boxer that's active and is trying to seek out those fights, I hope you lose. That's my personal opinion. Like, you should be fighting other pro boxers, like, it's not really that offensive because, Rahman Jr., it's not like he's holding a title. It's not like,
right.
Division, but like,
he's going for a payday.
Yeah, like when Floyd did it, he was already like 44 or something and like retired, had no belts, So it was like, there's extra cash, but like, Hasim is like, what, 24, 25? Yeah, he lost.
No. Hasim about 29, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So still in his prime, like to fight Vitor, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Right.
And Vitor, all he did was, beat up a 6-year-old Holyfield.
You're right. That definitely shouldn't have been in the ring. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Yeah. So it's a bad thing, honestly, because I feel like with these YouTubers, they're fighting other people that like have never boxed before. So when they get these like cool knockouts, it's like, whatever, dude. Like you're getting like worse than Journeyman, because even Journeyman will likely knock them out.
Right.
I think what's his name? Kermit Cintron. He called out Jake Paul. And Jake Paul did not want to fight Kermit Cintron because even though Kermit Cintron is like a former 147 pounder, he was a legit boxer, even if he wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Kermit Cintron would come right in there and knock Jake Paul unconscious. But that's another angle too, Cozy. You could touch on this part. What if one of these boxers really hurt one of these guys? But go ahead and shoot on it, Cozy.
Listen, I think I'm gonna have a different opinion.
Okay.
I see it as entertainment, right? So,
right.
Listen, I understand that boxing is a sport that you can get seriously hurt in, so I'm not discounting that. But as long as these guys who have access, remember, to high-level trainers, high-level strength and conditioning coaches, the whole sort of team, take that seriously, and they know the risks that they're taking because they're adults, I think it's fine. It's up to the consumer to decide if you want to watch it or not. You know what I'm saying? As far as Hasim Rahman, listen, I'm gonna say this, man. Do you really think? Let me ask you a question first. Do you think Hasim Rahman ever has a chance of being like a champion or a true contender in the sport from what you've seen?
No, I don't, and that's why I say he trying to just find him a lane to make some money. But no, I don't
agree.
So yeah,
I agree with you. So I don't think there's a problem with guys like that who are never really gonna get to the point where they can get a payday fighting in a true professional route. You know what I'm saying? Via championship and all these sanctioned bodies and stuff. Be like, all right, I'm gonna take my career into my own hands and get a payday this other way. You know what I mean? So I see that for what it is, and I don't really. I kind of separate that from real boxing. You know what I'm saying, so to speak. So it's not like something that I conflate or I feel like there's any sort of conflict with. And as if one of these guys get knocked out, man, that's on them. Honestly, you sit there and let a guy that just started boxing a couple of years ago knock you out. Maybe we'll just find out, you weren't that good. Maybe they need to go ahead and throw one of these guys on the top rank card, and so we can sniff out some of these prospects, man. You know what I'm saying? Because something's got to give. So yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I feel you on that. I agree. If a guy has no chance at getting to that level, if he can fight Lamar Odom or somebody and make $100,000, that would be better for him than being a human punching bag as a journeyman. But also too, if you're gonna do that, which is fine, don't try to talk like everything is so legitimate with you, like you getting ready for a world eliminator or a world title fight. Now, if you're gonna be honest about it, like, yeah, I'm gonna fight Lamar Odom today. I want to fight a Genuine next week, a Chris Brown, and you know what I'm saying? Hey, fight all of them. And let it be known, that's my lane right there. I'm beating up on entertainers and rappers. You know what I'm saying? And if that's what you want to do, sell it like that. Don't try to sell us like, you getting ready for some world title. So
that's true.
That's
very true.
Yeah, man. But hey, look, don't get me wrong. I see what a lot of guys are doing, man. They are, they carving out a little lane for themselves, beating up on, if they can, beat up on these guys, because you're only gonna be able to beat up on really one of them. Like, you're gonna have to sell it like, like they getting to you, you know what I'm saying? To make someone else say, oh, I can beat him. You get what I'm saying? You can't just go in there, hit him, and have their legs shaking from knocking him out in 10 seconds. That ain't gonna do it. You're gonna have to sell it. So you're gonna have to let them knock you down or whatever, and then you come back and win. But and like how Floyd carried Conor McGregor for a long time before he went on and knocked him out, right? So
yeah, it's true. And listen, I saw some of the fight yesterday. The KSI guy, they had the quote unquote pro in the ring, right? And again, we talk about where they found these people. They found that brother, you know what I'm saying, at a stand somewhere in Mexico. You know what I'm saying, selling shoes or something like that. And they said that he was a pro. He had been knocked out 5 of his 6 fights as a pro, and he went in there and got knocked out again. You know what I'm saying? So listen, these people, these YouTubers have teams, and they're smart too, right? Just like Top Ranks matchmakers, they got guys who do their research. They're like, oh yeah, that's a pro we can beat. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So like,
I'm waiting for Jake Paul and the guys to knock on my door, man. I need little Cozy. I'm ready to get one of them 6-figure paydays.
Yeah,
come on,
man.
KS1, KSI, whatever. Come in, give me a call. Let's go to Sheffield.
Yeah.
But let me say this. Ronnie just said a lot of these YouTuber fights are nonsense, and it's because the real fighters won't fight each other. If they did, there would be no Jake Pauls. Previous eras didn't have this problem. I blame today's generation. Well, it definitely would have been hard in the era of Roy Jones and Mike Tyson and all these guys to bring in one of those type of fights and have some legitimacy behind it. What's up, Steph? How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Just out running errands.
Yeah, I see you, man.
Getting a car wash and all that good stuff. And got the girls in the back and got the food.
All
right.
Yeah.
I hear you,
what
man.
You guys talking about?
Can I just say one thing real quick, though?
Yeah, go ahead, Cozy.
One thing I would say is, I know people say like this, eras previously didn't have this. But you got to remember, this happened in every sport. Like, I can remember, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was born in the 90s, but I'm saying, like, I can remember when they had dunk contests with baseball players and celebrities in them, and then they had 100-meter sprints with all different types of celebrities and athletes with them.
A fact,
so, like,
brother.
They do spectacles like this all the time. The only difference is it's boxing, a sport where you can get seriously hurt. So people are a little more sensitive about it, right? Because they're like, all right, you can really, lose your faculties in it. But again, I go back to, if you really believe in choice, you know what I'm saying? Somebody say they want to get in the ring. Who are I to stop them? You know what I mean? They're an adult.
Well, let me add this in. Being from a generation or two before you, there was something called Wide World Sports, right? And they used to have
ABC.
a dunk ABC, and they had this dunk contest with some guys y'all might have heard of: Ken Griffey Jr., Chris Carter, the NBA, the NFL, wide receiver, and prime time Deion Sanders and all these guys, and they get out there and dunk. So other sports have done this. It's the equivalence of those dunk contests and stuff. So I like I say, I have no problem with it if that's your lane. And Steph, really, what we had talked about was the Hakeem Rotman is going to fight Vitor Belfort, and we were just talking.
The MMA guy?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
October the 15th in Sheffield, England. They're going to fight. And we would and I brought it up not to discuss if Rotman's going to win or lose, but also just to make a point of what happens if these guys continue to mess around with the MMA fighters and then they start losing. Or if a boxer get in the ring and really hurt somebody, you know what I'm saying? And that's basically what we was discussing. But the next subject, though, Steph, because I don't even want you to address that. I want you to address this one first, because this is near and dear to your heart. So reports came out, or as people like to say, sources. Mark Kriegel from ESPN said that Bob Arum and other unnamed sources have said that, get ready for it, Steph, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk in February in Saudi Arabia or in Dubai. What's up, man? What's your thoughts on it, Steph? Come on.
Oh, man, wow. Wait, so was this today, right, that you read it?
Today, yes.
Wow.
Within the last couple hours.
Yes, like that. Oh, my God. Hey, man.
On Super Bowl weekend. So they already throwing a date out.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Race wars. All right. Hey, man, we shall see. That is dare I say, Mark Kriegel, he pulled a Donald Trump. He started a fire. That's what he did. And they're going to talk about this stuff and go on and on and on. And look, I want to put a disclaimer out there. What I'm going against is that I'm not saying it can't happen. This can very well happen. But I mean, all these numbers and the narratives that they're pushing out, I think that's just to grab the public's attention. I mean, did it give you a price point in that report?
No,
like
but
upwards to anything?
The report
or just said they're discussing,
50,
right?
50 split is a given. That's what he said.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I take that.
I was about to say that sounds stupid. Look, I'm with you, Steph, on this. I think that Bob Arum would love for the fight to happen. And I know for a fact Tyson Fury would love that. But when he say the 50-50 split is a given, then that make me think that somebody told him, because we know this happens, throw it out there in the atmosphere, and let's see what type of commotion we get by throwing this out there. You get what I'm saying? But go ahead, Sebastian.
Definitely.
Go ahead. One of you. It don't matter.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Okay.
Hold on, Steph. Go ahead.
Real
My
fast.
fault.
I took back what I said. They're lying. That's all lies. All that is fabricated. They're lying. I'm going to be the real right now. It's a 60-40 split, and it should go in Tyson Fury's favor because he has the bigger backing with the worldwide leader in sports backing him. If they're still going to back him, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, he has a lineal belt.
And you know what? This is going to hurt too. Well, it's not going to hurt me, but who's ever watching, baby. But I love both these guys in the ring, but they're not even half of what some of our past greats have given us. They're not even half of it. Not even half of it. They're the best of their eras, or this era, but they're not even half of it. And I'm not even, I mean, I say all this now because they're about to come out with literally all this crazy stuff. If you know what, you need to go back and watch that telecast. But probably maybe an hour's worth of Kriegel and company and all. I call them suits. All the suits up there, just up there, gaslighting and gas. I mean, just gassing those guys. Not saying how good and great they are, and I'm not, man. It's just, I don't know, man. And then they keep bringing up Lennox, like. If you ask me, Tyson's just not even half of that guy. He's not even half of that guy. Not even half of that guy.
Right.
So, like, I'm just it's the little things like that that bother me. But go ahead, you gentlemen.
Okay, Sebastian, go ahead, jump in there, man.
Oh, well, about what I think about is going to happen in Fury versus Usyk, or like how.
Well, about just the negotiation. Do you think that they just throwing it out there just to get a reaction, to see what people feel, to kind of gauge it, or you think this is real?
I think so. Yeah, it was kind of odd because, like, we still don't even know the split for, Bud versus Spence or what they even want. So the fact that they even said, it's going to be a 50-50 split,
given,
even though
right?
There's no agreements, I think it'll probably end up being somewhere like 60-40 in favor of Tyson.
Yeah, and that would be fair.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yep. How about you, Cozy?
I honestly don't even think that fight is competitive. I think Fury beats Usyk pretty easily. I'm just being honest with you, man. So I'm not really too excited about it, but I will say this. I believe Usyk said he had no contractual obligation to any network, so the fight could happen. Now, Super Bowl weekend, that sounds insane. You know what I mean? Just from a business perspective. So it just seems like they're trying to gauge the public interest in this fight. A little bit. Maybe the suits are doing that, and that's all cool and all that. But I think they will find that the public is not as interested as they hope. And I'm not saying that to try to downplay the fight. I'm just talking about commercially. Competitively, maybe people will be very intrigued. But commercially, to the average fan, I don't care what anybody says. I got my girl, and I asked her who Usyk was. She never heard of him. Okay? And this was like 2 weeks ago. So let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? The only reason she knows who Tyson Fury is because, you know what I mean, I'm a Wilder fan, boom. So it's like, come on, man.
You could go to the Ukraine and ask people about Usyk, and they wouldn't know him. But
one more thing to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and you know what else? Now you're getting me started now because you know it's gonna be dear to my heart. Another thing.
Go ahead.
Saudi Arabia. That's a lie. Dude. Okay, fine. You know what? I'll grant you. You know what that tells me? That you don't even have enough money in the UK to provide for it. So you're trying to get these Saudis to pay for it and all this other crap. They're talking World Cup now, Super Bowl. Like like y'all are gonna compete with. Like, give me a break, dog. Like that makes no sense. I mean, think about it. And then this is the cold hard truth about the rematch that took place a couple weeks ago while I was in Saudi Arabia. There was no money in the UK for it. Eddie Hearn had to go convince them to give the bag up because they weren't down for it over there. Surely weren't going to do it in America.
Yeah.
So convince those guys. And now, and Tyson Fury, he saw that, so he's all like, oh yeah, he licking his chops like, yeah. You know what? I don't know what I don't even want to speculate on what's going on with him. You know, Julius, you know more about that than I do, but something's up, and he thinks he can pull that string now. It's to be seen. And then I'll say this too, to be encouraged about both men. You know, those white dudes, those guys can sit down and make a deal, hash it out, and get things going if they want to. Again, that's not what I'm hating on. I'm just saying this narrative they're putting out, where it's this, that, and the other. It's just not. It's just not. All I know for sure is Usyk called him out, and that he said his most concern is Tyson Fury because he wants to complete the trilogy there and get that green belt. So, and guess what? Usyk's the ring guy now. So he just needs one more to complete it, and he'll probably most likely retire if he gets it. So
yeah, because he kind of old too now. He's like 36.
No, he's 35. I mean, yeah, but I don't think he's. I mean, I don't know.
Well, for his like attributes, you know, his main advantage is speed. You know, that's like the first thing that goes.
Well, Sebastian, his
heavyweights age a little.
Yeah, but his problem is, you know, when I hear his age, those problems like that, I'm thinking like because he's in a really dangerous division, he's the heavyweights, and he fights in a style to where like he's not saying he's got to be perfect, but he has to be very, very fluid like that, and it's hard to do that. It's really, really hard to do that at the heavyweight. So yeah, maybe that's paying a toll on. And Sebastian, I've said this a lot in our streams. Usyk's always been a heavyweight man. He just cut weight and went down to cruiserweight. So when people start talking just hoopla about it, I'm like, y'all are tripping, man. Like this guy cut weight, and you know, yeah, that's what it is to me with him.
Yeah, and he is smaller. He is pretty small, like for his era, like for his. That's
fine, but you know what? Like, you know, the reason why I make it such a big deal because everyone makes Tyson Fury 6'9", but a big deal when that big man crap just got beat with Usyk and AJ. AJ didn't even knock down Usyk in both fights, and that guy's got real power. So
that's a good.
You know, that big man, small man, it don't matter. Look at Big Baby; he's 6'2", 6'3", whatever, on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we shall see, man.
Yeah, and speaking of that, though, man, one thing that I think is ridiculous is to bring up the Super Bowl, because to bring up the Super Bowl would mean that you're going to be leading into some American hero that the people are going to rally behind. You know what I'm saying? Like the average fan, even with the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, you know, trilogy, they don't know no Tyson Fury. Like,
yeah, right?
Football fans ain't gonna be sitting around, man. Before the Super Bowl, during the Pro Bowl, we're gonna lead into it with a Tyson Fury Usyk fight. Like, go on and stop that. Now, y'all, they might fight. I agree, but the Super Bowl and people rallying behind it, I don't believe that. I don't see that. You know,
that's Mark Kriegel talking. That's journalist.
You know, yeah.
As if Americans, because if it's in Saudi Arabia, like I said, I'll grant it all, man. But let's grant it. It'd be the same time as Super Bowl, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You think folks are going to tune into that versus the Super? Like, no. It just wouldn't happen. Even beforehand, everyone else is cooking up, family coming over, friends coming over, congregating. And then the worst part about it is neither guy sells. I know we can argue that all, you know, to a brilliant place with anyone and everyone, but those guys don't sell. Yeah. They're not ticket sellers. I don't care what you say about who's that? His recent fight, Dillian White. They bought that crap, man. They bought that crap. So it's all good, man.
All right, I wanna touch on Zurdo for a minute. And we saw that Zurdo had, you know, a few issues. I'm not for sure when it happened, if it was yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, or what have you. But it's been in preparation for Bivol. First of all, what do y'all feel is Zurdo's chances in that fight? And then get into the drinking issues and stuff like that before the fight. Not if you're alcoholic or anything, but just leading into the fight. Is this a distraction? You go ahead, Sebastian.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like it is not only like a bad look, but it definitely does derail your career drinking alcohol, especially as a boxer. Like you saw what happened with Earl Spence, like apparently he was, he was drinking and driving, several times and almost ended his career. So that's why I kind of said earlier in the earlier today at 3:30, why I really like Floyd, because he does not promote. Well, he actually does promote drinking, but he himself does not drink. He's never drank, so that's like a really good attribute as a boxer. But but given Zurdo's situation, he's in Mexico, and from what I heard, if you have like a little bit of money, you'll get away with it. Because you read what happens to Chavez Jr. all the times. Yeah, he gets in trouble with the police, nothing happens to him.
Yeah, they pay him off. Yeah, definitely. But how do you see his chances against Bivol?
Against Bivol?
Yeah,
man, he is a huge light heavyweight. That's the only thing that makes it kind of interesting. Because from what I heard, he rehydrates up to 205 pounds on fight night.
Ooh.
Which is kind of insane because he came from
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, especially because he came from 160. But he could be, drained from trying to make 175. He could have like a really bad gas tank, and he doesn't really look too good when he fights. Like I saw him fight against that one Cuban boxer. I forgot his name.
Yo Whiskey or something like that.
Yeah, somebody that Andre Ward fought.
Oh, head guy.
Yeah. And like he knocked him out, but like he didn't look that good doing it. So I don't know. I imagine Bivol winning a pretty wide unanimous decision. Unless he catches Bivol. But I think this would be an easy fight for Bivol.
Okay. Cozy, what you think about the fight and about the issues he got going on in training?
Yeah, one, I'm just gonna echo what Sebastian said. I think Bivol's skill is just way higher than Zurdo's is, and it kind of goes back to the point that we were talking about earlier, right? With matchmaking, who has Zurdo really been fighting? I mean, for these however many fights he's had, he's 50, 60-0 or some shit like that. I mean, a crazy amount of fights, right? And he's barely fought anybody, so there's that. And two, I'm not super impressed with his skill, but like Sebastian said, his one chance, power and size. But Bivol he knows how to neutralize that because he gauges distance very well, and he keeps an active jab, so he'll be resetting Zurdo a lot in that fight. Probably a comfortable unanimous decision, like you said. As far as the drinking and stuff like that, it's never a good look, especially to have public intoxication. But it's interesting how we judge those things, right? Because we saw Tyson Fury publicly intoxicated a couple of months ago, and nobody said anything about it, right?
Nobody but me.
Yeah, nobody. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, listen, some people get away with it, some people don't. I try to stay out these guys' personal lives too much, as long as they're not, doing.
Yeah, I think what brought it up, Cozy, is it's so close to the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say is I try to stay out their personal lives unless it's going to affect their abilities in the ring. And I do think, like you said, that alcohol intake will affect him, especially considering Dimitri Bivol. I don't think we've heard anything like that from him. As a matter of fact, we've heard that he's a very dedicated worker and has a strict regimen. So he doesn't
like a no bullshit type of fighter.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's really not looking too good for him. But again, over there at Golden Boy, man, I don't really believe in any of their guys anyway long term. So
let me cut up real quick. I want to talk about this is one of the fight that I want to see. What do you guys think about Inoue versus Fulton?
Hey, that's a good fight. I think Inoue is about to fight Butler. And that's going to be a non-competitive 2-round destruction.
We'll be right back.
Okay. But let me say this. Steph has boxing ability to keep Inoue away from him. Yeah. And he's strong enough on the inside to hold him off. But in between, Can he take Inoue power? Will Inoue bring it up to 22? If Inoue brings it up, then Inoue got a chance because he can punch. And I don't know what type of chin Fulton got against a real dynamic puncher. But if Inoue don't bring the dynamic punch up with him, he's gonna get stopped. I think that Fulton on the inside will beat him up and pot shot him and get in there and stop him.
Yeah, because Fulton, Fulton's a big dude, you know, because he's 122, but he could easily fight at like 126 or maybe
130. Right.
Yeah, he said he walks around like 150.
Right.
You know, there's a picture with him in boots, and he doesn't look, you know, that small.
Right. He looked like a welterweight.
Yeah, and Inoue started from 108 from flyweights.
Right.
So like it's a lot of divisions, but you know, Fulton, he has that reach advantage. So, you know, he can always keep him outside of bit with jab. And, you know, I think he's naturally going to be naturally stronger because, you know, he comes from the higher weights. I was talking to my friend, and he was saying that it could probably look like Rigo versus Donaire, you know, where there's not much action happening in between, but, like, Rigo, like, decisively wins.
Well, you know, Inoue had an interesting interview the other day. I don't know if y'all saw it. But Inoue had they had asked him about moving up fighting you know, Fulton or the other fighter, MJ, right? And he said that he would rather fight Fulton. And that he said something along the lines of he would love to move up because, you know, being in Japan, having to fight at these smaller weight classes. And I get what he's saying, that there's more opportunities in Japan at 118 and 112 than it would be to come over to the States. But of course, he knows the money, and that money fight would be here. But it was interesting. But I like Inoue as a small fighter, but I'm kind of discouraged on him going forward because I seen what a younger Donaire, I believe, would have beat him. But Donaire just had the age and too much wear and tear to beat Inoue, but enough to break his jaw, you know, swell his eye up, give him a detached retina. You know what I'm saying? So, so that I'm discouraged by that, and I just have to be honest.
Yeah, but Donaire's, although he won his first title at 112. Donaire's a huge guy himself because he won a world title at 126 as well.
Right. So, but he was 37 when they first fought.
Yeah. So
and see, that's the part that I'm talking about. You let a 37-year-old Donaire do those things to you, and you won by decision, or 38-year-old Donaire. But if it was a 28-year-old Donaire, we wouldn't be talking about Inoue right now. We'd be talking about Donaire going to 22, fighting those guys, which he did. He went all the way to 26 and fought these guys in his prime. You see what I'm saying? Inoue got to do that.
I feel it. Although I would say I lean towards more. I think Inoue is the truth. I don't think he beats. I'm not sure if he beats Fulton. That's like, I don't know. You got to ask me on one day. I think Fulton beats him. One day I think Inoue wins. But I think in the lower weights between 112 and 118, I think he has most of them pretty shook. Because I remember back a couple of years ago, he was a mandatory for Roman Gonzalez. When Inoue only had like 11 fights.
Man, Inoue would have killed.
There's not enough money for me to fight him. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, I would have picked Inoue to really hurt him. Go ahead, Cozy. What you think? Great question too, Sebastian.
I think Inoue is the truth too, but I also think Stephen Fulton is the truth, and I always go with that saying, a good big man beats a good little man. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think the natural size advantage probably plays a role. As long as Stephen Fulton honestly can take Inoue's power, I think that he could outbox him because, listen, as much as I like Inoue, I don't think he's faced an opponent like Stephen Fulton. And in that interview you were talking about, Julius, he was talking about having never faced black fighters in their athleticism because he's never faced one yet, right? And that's a style, you know what I'm saying? That's you know what I'm saying? So we'll see about that. I'd love to see that fight though. But from what I hear, he's making really good money out there in to Japan fighting those fights, so it's going to be
Absolutely.
kind of hard to pull him away from that, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But those two, probably from 122 down, are the two best to me. So I'd love to see that fight. And
Definitely.
yeah, I'd favor Fulton slightly, but it's really, 55-45 type of fight. I wouldn't be surprised if either guy won. Honestly.
Okay, that's good. Steph.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing the end of that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
Let me ask you a question, brother.
Yes, sir.
So Sebastian posed a question, and it makes sense right now because Inoue, which is your man, is going to be fighting Paul Butler here soon. But how do you think Inoue fare against Cool Boy Steph?
Ooh, that's tough, right? And it's real tough. Gosh, one moment. It's tough for all the things that Bravo just mentioned there. However, I'm such a sucker for snooze buttons, man. So I think if Inoue really concentrates really, really hard on it, he could go ahead and get Fulton up out of there. Because again, he's been cutting a lot of weight too. And the thing about him at bantamweight, none of those guys can take his power. That's why he's been able to really surpass everybody, even when he was in a lower weight than that. No one can handle that power. And I believe him when he says his power is just going to be fine when he moves up, especially when it gets to 26. He said he'll probably cap out there. That's why 4 or 5 years ago, a big smart fight was Lomachenko versus Inoue. But his power, if it connects, then he go ahead and get him up out of there. I think guys with snooze buttons can fight in any era. However, Steph Fulton is really nice. He's also a pound for pound fighter too. He's also cutting a lot of weight to get down to that size. He should probably be a 130 guy. He should realistically be a tank guy where he's at, getting his weight and his girthy look. But we shall see, man. And that's one fight that I'm just gonna wait patiently for because there's so much crap in between. The thing about Inoue is he's gonna have to get away from Top Rank. That's the only way anything. That's the only time I will enter because I like him a lot. I hold him up there. He's the only small weight guy I would put on the pound for pound list right now if it were up to me. So that's what I think about that fight. We shall see. But he's got to get away from ESPN. He's got to get away from Top Rank. And if he's serious, all the wording that I'm getting from him, sign with the PBC, man. Because there's plenty of smoke over there. There's plenty of smoke. And I've been reading about him. One of my best friends is from Tokyo, so he always translates for me when I'm reading about him. He's really serious, man. He's trying to, in a ways, like Errol in the sense of he's trying to get in, get out, meaning he's going to have a short career. He wants to get out his mid-30s, early 30s, he says. So we only have a little more time with him.
The one thing about you saying him getting away from ESPN, which I agree, Al Heyman has a good working relationship with Japan when he had the Komita brothers.
I was at that fight.
Yeah,
that's right here with me up in LA.
Yeah, I think it's 3 of those brothers, if I'm not mistaken. And Al Heyman worked with them. He worked with them with a promoter in Mexico.
Well, the recent
with a promoter over in Japan. So he has a working relationship with Japanese promoters, and also I'm glad you brought this up, Sebastian, because anyway, if we're gonna believe that he's a pound for pound fighter, why would ESPN and Top Rank allow this guy fights to be viewed on a Tuesday morning at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
You clearly don't care nothing for the guy. You don't care nothing about his career. Let him go.
Yeah, I hope in a way steps away from Top Rank, but I don't know. I don't understand like the relationships and how the business side works. But I feel like when I was reading that recent Inoue article, the way he sounded when he talked about his promoters, it sounded like he was going to trust them no matter what. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull that.
What do you mean by that, though, Sebastian? What do you mean?
I'm trying to find it.
Where are you going with that
interview? Okay, yeah. Okay, I got it pulled up. Let me read this real quickly. How about Fulton? Hold on 1 sec. Let me see. Give me 1 second.
While he's finding that, do we think Reese Salim has any good favor? Meaning, like, will he get a chance? He's been waiting in line for a championship fight for about 2 years now. But now,
Aleem.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell y'all a tweet that I sent to Cool Boy Steph. And
Sebastian, when you're ready, sir.
I can say it real quick. He says right here.
Go ahead. I'll get back to that, Steph. Go ahead.
So Ring TV told him, after moving up to 122, the matchmaking could be difficult because of promotional issues. Are you gonna assert your wishes to some extent, or will you leave it to the team? Then he says, I will say who I like to fight, what I like to do, but I'll leave it up to my manager and my promoter in the end. I'm not going to intervene. The rest is up to them. So if it's
I can see where
then he's gonna be okay with fighting bums. That's what it sounds like to me. But there could be a translation lost between. But
yeah, I think so. I like that second part because, again, he's aligned with Takon. Tekon, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I say Tekken, but it's Takon. So they're already their own entity. I just mean get away from ESPN Top Rank because Takon will work with anybody. They'll work with anybody.
Absolutely.
In fact, they sign people all the time, Americans all the time, and whom else they sign. But get away from ESPN because they're going to want a piece of the pie too, and yada, yada, because it is a big fight if it does get there. But, like Julius was saying, they have staggered the momentum with that guy and don't have any competitive fights lined up for him, even in the next stage. I don't know, man. And then side note, just given what we're talking about, gentlemen,
right?
It's things like this that makes me want to hammer down on Top Rank because I like them. I like what they do. I like their matchmakers, Trampler, Moretti, the guys who are under Aram who really call the shots. They do a fantastic job, but a lot of their fights suck. I don't care what any of y'all say. A lot of their fights suck. Like it's always just a little bleh. It's like bland meal. You're like, get this ass out of here, man. Comparable to some other entities, and I'm not trying to be a PBC home or anything like that, but I don't want to say PBC. Like the way Showtime sets things up, it's on another level. It's just on another level, man.
Well, that
you're absolutely right.
The biggest issue.
The one thing I was going to say, my friend.
No, go ahead, Cozy. No, go ahead.
No, the only thing I was going to say is if we're going to be honest, and I'm going to echo what you said, I'm going to back up what you said, Steph, just now. When's the last 50-50 fight that Top Rank put on that we said, oh, man, we got to watch? And I'm not talking about a Top Rank PBC promotion. I'm talking about purely Top Rank. Can anybody name that for me? The last 50.
Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor. I love that fight. Love that fight. That was a heck of a fight. Like, okay. I was rooting Jose Ramirez a lot. Not because I like both those guys, because I really thought Jose could pull it out. And Josh Taylor's got this thing to where he does this thing on weigh-ins and the press conferences where he talks a gang of shit. Pardon my French there, Julius. And he kind of makes you mad a little bit. He's like, man, I hope this other guy beats him up. But that was a good fight, and it was difficult to score up until the knockdowns. So, but that was again, they put on good fights, but most of them suck, man. Like I'm just
Yeah.
I mean,
like everyone's complaining about last night, and it was a show out prospect night. It was weird.
yeah, and you know, my thing with them is diversity. You know, diversity brings about good fights to me.
But Julius, they got plenty of diversity, man. Just saying.
Yeah, but you got to match the diversity, which is where I was going with that. You can't have a situation where you don't want to put a Black American fighter against your Mexican fighter because you don't know if he's ready. You can't have a Black American fighter not fighting another Black American fighter. And me saying that is going to lead into my next comment, which was the old comment about Cool Boy Steph. I sent out a tweet to Cool Boy Steph, and I sent out one to Shakur Stevenson. I sent one to Shakur in regards to fighting, what is my man name? 130-pound guy. Oh, Shockey Austin.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that a little time ago. Yeah,
absolutely. And then I sent one out to Cool Boy Steph in regards to fighting Aleem. And basically what I told him was, you owe it to, if you consider this guy your brother or a friend, or you want to help your race, help that man and his family. You know, don't sit there and try to go for, and you know, the number one thing that people like to say, all right, Cozy, you take care, brother. The one thing that people say is, oh, well, the style and this and that. No. Because Aleem and what was the guy that he just beat? The pretty good Mexican fighter, 122-pounder.
You're talking about on the Figueroa, it's Fulton card, or the one?
That's Daniel Roman. Danny
Roman. So Danny Roman ain't no face-first Mexican fighter. He's just a good fighter that's a little versatile, can do a little bit of both, not explosive or whatever. So I think that he could have fought Aleem, because Aleem is a come-forward fighter. And I told Steph, hey, man, you know, I'm not a part of Aleem team, but, you know, help that man out. Give him, he been waiting, and I think he's been the mandatory for the WBO and the WBA, I believe. So, yeah, he deserves a shot. He deserves a shot. And I don't want to see Fulton fight no one except two other people ahead of Aleem. That's if Inoue moves up, based upon him being a unified and soon to be undisputed champion, 4 pounds below. If he move up, I understand. Or MJ to make an undisputed title fight. Other than that, Aleem versus Fulton should be now. That should be the next fight. And Aleem is gonna fight on the card coming up on Sunday, the Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz card, but I fully stand behind Aleem fighting Cool Boy Steph. And I said this before, and I will say it again. It ain't just Hispanic fighters that don't like fighting Black American fighters. Black American fighters don't like fighting Black American fighters. So you want to see certain Black American fighters tap dance or buck dance away from a situation, let another Black American fighter come up that's hungry, that comes, you'll start seeing them backpedal and go and fight a Hispanic fighter that they feel that they got an advantage over. So you know, on this show, brother, we're gonna keep it real. We don't care what race you is. We're gonna say what the facts is first, and that's the fact on that. And I'm not saying that Cool Boy Steph can't beat Aleem. I feel that Figueroa was more suited for him. Roman was more suited for his style. But sometimes you gotta be uncomfortable. That's my opinion of that, man. What y'all guys think?
No, that's a good point, because like I actually have not heard of Aleem until like a few days ago when somebody said, you know, a good welcome fight for Inoue for at 122. I looked him up and I saw like 31-32. But I didn't know that he was, you know,
he's a big boy too.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a manager for the WBO and WBA. So in that regard, you know, that's true. that
And-
Fulton should fight him if he's not fighting
Yeah.
Inoue or MJ.
Yeah.
But also your comments about the styles, and I would say I actually do agree with you. There is I want to say there's like a science to it, but from my limited experience, let me just post this in the private chat. So this is my boxing coach in Chicago that I go to. Unfortunately,
actually, real fast, Sebastian. So you box, man. Tell me a little bit about that and where you out of.
Yeah, so I'm in Chicago. Well, right now I'm living outside of the burbs until I move out. But yeah, I've been boxing since like 2020, but I've been having this coach since like last year, I'd say.
All right. Well, let me play this.
Yeah. No, he's one of the funny dudes I met. He's like a great coach.
I'm trying to see if I can move it over to the screen so everybody can see it.
Yeah, StreamYard's kind of acting funny right now for me.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of rolling around
For the first
in a
time.
circle, man.
Ever. Yeah.
Eddie Davis is his name, right? Yeah, it kind of messing up there and won't allow me to play it. But go ahead and tell me about him, and I'm gonna keep working on it. And if I can get it up, I definitely will.
Yeah. So I want to say so I've been sparring, for a good couple of months now, and mostly because of the location where I'm at. Most of the people that are in the gym are Black Americans. Sometimes there are a couple Mexican Americans. I one time sparred an Asian, but there's definitely like a difference. Like I used to spar once every now and then with this Mexican dude, and even though he was naturally heavier than me, he punched really hard, like very hard. But the thing was that like he did the same move like all the time. He was pretty predictable and wasn't that hard, to find.
Right.
But when he hit me, it hurt like hell. Like he was the first and only person to ever knock me down on a body shot. But yeah. So that shit hurt. But I guess from my experience,
I believe it.
Yeah, and I've only sparred for a couple of months, so my experience is limited. But like when it's like a Black American, they may not hit as hard, and it may not be as like intimidating, but like it is a lot harder to find a target, and because like the footwork and hand speed and whatnot, it's like slick. That's why everybody says a slick fighter, So. And I guess versus also the one time I sparred with an Asian person. Now he was a lot lighter than me, so maybe that explains for how quick he was. But he was like very fast. Like he would throw one punch and then another two punches in combination before I even reacted. But again, kind of the same thing with Mexican. But like after some time, they do the same thing over and over again. You kind of like are able to time it. But I don't know what it is within our genetics, but there is definitely a style between different groups.
Right, I agree, man. But and everything that you say is right. It's just in boxing, it's like what Mike Tyson said that I agree with, is that fighters need to make pacts to fight one another. And like we had said earlier today, I know I had said, every fight isn't a super fight. And there's no reason that Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, being 5 pounds apart, can't fight next. Like it's nothing saying you can't. There's nothing saying that Shakur first fight at 135 can't be against Devin Haney. Like he don't have to get acclimated to the weight. I keep hearing that silly talk, and I think it's silly. Oh man, I gotta move up 5 pounds. I need to get. I got to take a couple tune-up fights to get my body. No, you train at 140 something. So why you can't just go up to 35 and fight? Like, let's not have that. Too many guys before have moved up and fought the top guy in their first fight. Didn't Mayweather move up and fight Jose Luis Castillo like immediately at 35? Like, you can do it. Shakur versus Devin Haney is the fight I want. But like Mike Tyson said, and he said this to Jamal Charlo, y'all fighters have to make a pact and fight one another. Ain't no ducking, fight them.
I like that. That's the fighter's mentality right there. He said, y'all make a pact, not them.
No, not the promoters. Y'all make the pact.
The fighters, right on.
Yeah.
I like that. It's been a long time since I heard something like that.
Yeah, because even in the Earl Spence and Bud situation, if those two guys just come and say, look, man, hey, what's good? Sometimes two fighters or two people can come together and then make the lawyers do what they want them to do. You get what I'm saying? I think that's what needs to happen, man, because, and sometimes, and Steph, you're going to like this. Sometimes fighters are looking for a reason to back out. You get what I'm saying? So they looking to use this lawyer or to use this promoter so they don't have to go through with these situations. Sometimes
that's what I think the boy Crawford's doing. He's looking for a way out. Looking for a way out. I've been saying that.
His resume is full.
I've been saying that since January, man. He doesn't want to fight that guy. Not because he's scared of him, not because he fears him. It's just it's the ops are all messed up. He's in a bad position. And I've been wanting to ask this on other panels. I don't know if it's because he's he's in unfamiliar territory, unfamiliar like feeling and ground because he doesn't have any backing. And the funny part about it is, dude, you are a free agent. No one gets a cut out of your bag but Bomac. So it's just weird stuff, man. It's really weird stuff. So all of that just tells me you don't want to do it.
Let me ask you a question, Steph, and Sebastian, you can answer. How many top-level Black American fighters has Bud Crawford fought in his whole career?
He fought Porter, but Porter was on the slide.
Porter was done, Sebastian. I interviewed him.
I agree, but I'm going to be nice to Bud here because I shit on him all the time. I'm trying to be nice.
So what would...
Who's that, Porter or Crawford?
Porter.
So that would make the number what? 0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 0.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you, again, man. Sometimes I said it before. Black American fighters don't want to fight Black American fighters. So
I see what you're doing.
Or they want to get paid excess amounts. It'll be issues going on here and there because in the end, man, it's not that they're not scared. That he ain't scared, but the danger level is at an all-time high. All those advantages that you were talking about, Sebastian, when you go in with the footwork, this and that, fighting against guys of other ethnicities and things of that nature goes away. Mm-hmm. And you got to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look, Floyd Mayweather's toughest fight as a pro was against a guy with 20 losses, Emmanuel Augustus, right? Mm-hmm. A Black American fighter with all those losses, but could match Floyd with hand speed and foot speed. Floyd had to use grit to win that fight. So this is just my observation of watching boxing that, someone gonna have to come in. Oh, Cozy, you good, brother? Someone gonna have to come in and probably help talk these guys into, taking this fight. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, now that you mentioned, for some reason when you told me about that, for some reason the first boxer that popped into my mind was Shane Mosley. Like he took 4 L's from 2 Black American fighters, Vernon Forrest and Winky Wright.
Yeah.
Who was that, Sebastian?
Shane Mosley. He lost to Vernon Forrest.
Yeah. And, Shane Mosley.
Yeah. Those were not just losses; those were his first losses as pros in his prime.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, look, man. I've been watching this thing for a long time. The first time Sugar Ray Leonard got knocked on his butt wasn't by it was by a journeyman welterweight that was Black. I mean, Kevin Howard. So I'm just telling you, man, that or how about Eric Morales fighting Zahir Rahim, a random Black fighter from Philadelphia. He wasn't Olympian, but a random fighter from Philadelphia that wasn't considered anything.
Hey,
Eric Morales 11-12 rounds. Like, it's dangerous fighting against Black American fighters and even Black.
It's funny because that you mentioned that because Morales, while I was watching that fight,
Rio,
my bad.
You say something, Steph? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Yeah. So I was saying that his team said they actually personally selected Zahir Rahim because they knew that his style was gonna be a lot different and trickier. But they wanted to see that Eric because they said like, oh, we're tired of fighting, face first type of brawlers. We want to fight somebody that's skilled and slick. But then it kind of backfired on Eric really badly.
Right, man. And if you can remember, he beat Junior Jones after Junior Jones beat Barrera. So Morales got kind of big-headed to the point that, oh, this guy ain't gonna be nothing. I beat Junior Jones coming off his best wins as a pro. I mean, it's just difficult, man. It's a difficult thing, and it's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? It's real. Those guys getting in those situations, fighting against those fighters, man. It's just.
But if I give my technical breakdown as to why, I think it's because of the jab. Because it's the fastest punch that you can throw. It's probably like the most important punch in boxing. So like if you don't know how to get rid of a jab, you're gonna be in for like a very long night.
Very long.
I think that's Canelo's problem.
What do you say, Steph?
Go ahead, Sebastian. I'm sorry, sir.
No, I say because even though right hands and left hooks, they may hurt you more. But like if you're so used to it, you'll have some type of defense. But if you don't know how to get away from the jab, then you're gonna lose.
Absolutely. Right. What did you say, Steph?
Correct, Sebastian. Correct. I agree. I was saying I think that's what's Sebastian's problem. I'm not. That's what Canelo's problem is, the jab. Because he's got the best, and this is what I think what he learned from Floyd Mayweather. We always like to pick on that fight with him. But the thing about him, when he came out of that fight, he realized he was like, man, I was doing everything. I was doing my best, but I did not touch this guy. So what was that? That upper body movement. Canelo has mastered the upper body movement, right? That's why he's able to just walk guys down and just kind of do that. He's just like, they're missing him, right? Except when a guy who's like Bivol, of course, who's got a jab, and what does that jab do? Since he's got the best upper body movement, it leaves his body exposed. So if you can keep hitting him in the body good and then keep a jab and keep him honest, he has issues. Because he's pretty flat-footed in the sense to where like he's stationary, where he's got center block feet, but he's just mastered that upper body movement to where he's moving so much you don't know what he's doing, and plus he carries a lot of power himself. But if you got a jab in his face, he can't do nothing, man. That's why he won't fight. He won't fight Jamal. He won't fight Andrade. He won't fight David, because those guys carry a style, an American style with a jab. It'd be really, really tough for him, man. Really, really. But he's back at 168, so we shall see. We shall see.
Fight coming up in a few weeks. And let me say this. No one's really talking about the Canelo fight.
I know. I was just going to say that.
The Bivol situation took some steam off of him.
Yeah, because everybody wanted to see the Bivol rematch. I think if he went immediately for the Bivol rematch, there'd be a lot more people talking about it. Because
it's because you know what it is, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say a Bivol rematch immediately would have been huge, because even for me, like I only give Canelo like 2 or 3 rounds.
Hold on one second, guys.
So I'm like, if Canelo, really beats Bivol in the rematch, that'd be some crazy shit. That'd be like, oh my god. But with GGG3, I mean, I don't really want to see that fight again.
I was gonna say right. Yes, sir. Right on. I didn't want to see in that fight. I don't. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, Sebastian. I hold these boxers, man, to the highest pedestals, man. Meaning, I want them to fight the best. I do not care. No excuses, man. The best need to fight the best.
Absolutely.
There's so many obstacles. There's so many politics, and those darn belts make it so difficult to find out who it is. Certain things, just it's truly the Wild West, man. And here's the irony in it, really. The business of boxing gives us really good fights. Meaning, when they finally put money down, the networks that is, they'll give us a really good fight. Don't get that twisted. But back to Canelo, that's his problem, man. He's over there fighting on an app.
That's
So,
another thing.
I
man.
think, in my opinion, once I think once his numbers start hurting, that bottom dollar, that bottom line, he's not complaining now because his money's guaranteed.
Mhm.
But when those pay-per-view starts dropping, he'll have to come over here and fight real smoke, man. And I think fighting Jamal Charlo, an elite black guy, that's his biggest pay-per-view next to Floyd Mayweather, man. He'll make the most money.
I think a lot of
they
people
offered
wanna
him
see that.
$55 million to fight Errol. They
Yeah.
offered him $55 million to fight Errol.
Yeah.
The same money that he took, the same deal that he's on now with his own, these 3 fights, but the third being an option. They offered him the same money, 150, 155 million for everything, and he turned it down. And I tell people in screams all the time, like, dude, people walk away from big money all the time, man. It's smoke. It's he. And so, yeah, I was saying that. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I love Canelo, man. I'm a big fan of him, but I hold him accountable. He has not fought smoke in almost 5 years, dog. He has not fought. I'm not
right.
Impressed. That run he did, all that crap, that was all shit, dude. That's not real boxing for him. He's better than that.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if I would give credit if Canelo fought Earl, because Earl's a 147-pounder. Like,
right.
No, Errol's a
better,
middleweight.
like,
Earl's a middleweight. Trust me. He's just cutting weight to get down to welterweight level. But his peak is middleweight. His peak is middleweight. Don't get it twisted. 160, and that's a catchweight fight. That's like anywhere between 162 and 166.
I mean, like that's something that we don't. I mean, we know that Earl cuts, but like we've never seen him, fight, world champ at 154, let alone 160 or 168. So that's why.
Now you'll laugh when I say this because you're a boxer. I don't know if professional or not, but you're aiming to be a boxer. You spar bigger guys all day, every day. Errol is sparring super middleweights, literally super middleweights, man. And then if he's working on things, he spars in whatever heavyweights are in there. And then he's also sparring, of course, people around that welterweight line. But generally, it's super middleweight, man. He's punches, as he says, and he's a powerful dude, man. And he's southpaw, not to mention, but he's a very, very powerful dude, man. That's why he's got so little fights. Guys don't want to fight him, man. They don't want to fight him. That's real smoke. That's when you said that guy hit you real hard, it is with him. Ask Carlos Ocampo. I think he could have went on in that fight, but he said, nah. He got hit one time and wanted to get up out of there.
Yeah. A lot of people was upset out there that night in Dallas because that was very fast, man. Crazy. Oh, I wanted to hear your opinion on this fight, Sebastian, that's coming up soon. The Anthony Dirrell, who done made news lately with his great golfing. Didn't know he could golf, but anyway, Anthony Dirrell, Plant. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Had this fight happened before the Canelo fight, I was thinking it was 50-50, even at this stage, because I'm not high on Caleb Plant like that. But I'm starting to think with the confidence that Anthony Dirrell got, and I think the low confidence that Caleb Plant could come in at, I see Anthony Dirrell beating him, man. I see Caleb Plant going on a downward spiral. So what do you think, Sebastian?
I don't know. For me, well, first with the Dirrell brothers, I prefer Andre Dirrell.
I love Andre. Yeah, he was the better.
Yeah, I think he was always a more skilled fighter between him and Anthony. Like, it's crazy he never won a world title.
Well, he did win one. He won it on his back.
Well, that wasn't for a world title though. That was the best part. When he fought Arthur Abraham, there was no title on.
No, Uzateki.
Yeah.
When he got fouled in that fight and won the title.
I think that was an interim belt though, if I remember correctly.
He ended up getting the regular belt on that.
Okay.
And then he got knocked out on his first defense.
Let's keep it consistent.
Right.
But
he got knocked out his first defense.
Yeah, but with Anthony, I don't know, he just seems too old. Like, even before he fought Benavidez, he fought Anvil Yildirim.
I remember that.
That was a close fight. It was a split decision.
Yep.
And Anvil Yildirim, was a bum.
Absolutely.
And then he got stopped he took a lot of punishment from Benavidez.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like 37, 38.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. even though Plant got knocked out, I think Plant should be able to outbox Durrell. It would be way more interesting of a fight though if it happened like, let's say, maybe like 5 years ago or so.
Yeah, the one element that we can't see is how Plant is going to react from the beating. Because anytime you get a guy that's arrogant, like Caleb Plant, very braggadocious guy. I seen this guy brush off when James Toney was trying to give him some corners, and he pretty much, ignored him. Ignored him. And then he went right out there trying to do the exact move that James Toney mastered, the shoulder roll, and Caleb Plant and Canelo beat Caleb Plant in his rib cage all night and then knocked him out. Guys like that normally struggle after you take something from them or beat them up or bully them. So that aspect is what I'm looking at. The aspect you can't see. Yeah. I'm just thinking that's gonna rear its ugly head, and I can see Caleb Plant getting beat. What you thinking, Steph?
A couple scenarios. I see your scenario, like the smug, just a nice slice of humble pie, right?
Yeah.
But he seemed to have gotten that with Canelo, but he was always going to get that with Canelo. And the reason why is because, man, that shoulder roll was pretty crappy. That's why old boy that's why he went out the way he did. He got knocked out. Mm-hmm. Or he could, here's a second slice of humble pie where he actually learned a lot from that fight. Now he's got a new trainer who can kind of implement something.
Breadman.
Mm-hmm. And Breadman's a little more philosophical and more ethosy, with the mind control. So perhaps he could be in a good headspace right now. He just has a kid. He just had his second kid. He's had offspring issues in years past, but now he's on the up with that. So I could see that coming out, and he may come out and just do Durrell dirty, man, just box circles around him. And then that last scenario is he's doing well up until Durrell knocks him out, because he can box, just he just can't bust a paper bag, That's all. And he has no power.
Caleb Truex had some moments against him too.
Yeah, and with that, he just hasn't faced enough smoke, man. And like you said, you always pick on his resume, and I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
It just hasn't faced that smoke.
Yeah, but I think Durrell,
my dogs are barking.
Plants, wins. I think that is a step in the right direction, because Durrell is probably would be like his second best win at this point.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hey, let me give some news. It's kind of sad news, man. Football player with the Washington Redskins, man. Rookie running back. Bryant Roberts was shot in Washington, D.C., man. He was shot, man, in Washington, D.C. He's in the hospital.
Wait. Who is this, Julius?
Brian Roberts. He's a not a wide receiver, a running back for the Washington Commanders. I said the Redskins. Forgive me. The Washington Commanders.
Panthers or Commanders. Yeah, I was gonna say one of those.
Yeah, the Commanders, man. Brian Robertson. I said Roberts. He's in stable conditioning. He was shot multiple times. Someone tried to rob him in Washington, D.C., man. And but the hospital said that they don't consider it life-threatening, that he was just shot in the lower extremities. But, man, we got to pray for this guy. This was a carjacking attempt. And it's just, Robinson, third-round pick out of Alabama, was expected to start for the Commanders.
No. Oh,
sad.
Wow.
Yeah, man, we gotta, up in the DMV, man, the violence and the gun violence, man, got to stop. And I know it's like that everywhere, man. And it's so, when people are dealing with hopelessness, I mean,
right,
that brings
that's where it really, it breaks the fragile mind, man.
Yeah. When you're hopeless,
so
man.
they're liable to do anything.
Yeah,
and that's what you meant when you said that's just a crazy area, man, because it's not much positive and hope in the economy right there. And the only people around there are black folks.
right.
So,
Right.
That's tough, man.
And you end up hurting this, hurting your own people. And I'm pretty sure I didn't see what type of car Brian Robinson was in, but rest assured, I'm sure it was something. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was an SUV, man.
Could have been, but I'm sure it was something brand new. I put it that way. Guy just get drafted in the 3rd round. First time he come into some real money, 9 times out of 10, he gonna buy something nice for himself. But
hey,
sad to hear that.
Sorry.
Yo, go ahead.
No, my dog is always doing something crazy, man.
The dog.
Leave that nasty worm alone. What are you doing? That's how you get ringworm and all that crap.
Yeah, man. So had to pull that news in. It just came across the
man.
A little sports board, I call it.
I have a lot of love for just that area that stretches from literally to the Washington Commanders to the Baltimore Ravens to the Carolina Panthers. Starting with the Carolina Panthers, man, I've been there. I'm a fan of Charlotte. Like I was giving that story, I was hanging out at Belmont Abbey downtown. And then you fast forward to now, Charlotte's an upbeat city, man. It's on the up. Absolutely. And then my older brother, man, one of my heroes, role models. He's his second team. We're from Dallas, but his second teams are Baltimore and the New York Jets. But he's a big Ravens guy, so I've always kind of supported the Ravens, and they're generally a good organization. Hey, come on back, Cleo. And then who's that? And then the Commanders. My brother used to stay in D.C. before he's up there in Brooklyn now. So I would go see him. He lived probably 10 minutes from the stadium, D.C. So, and here we are, we're Cowboys fans. But it's a good stadium right there, FedEx Field. So
yeah, man, and I think they're trying to get a new stadium as well.
Nah.
Yeah, they trying. Yeah, man, they trying to get them.
Maybe.
But we're gonna see what's on the schedule coming up this weekend. So y'all know on Sunday we 100% got Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz Jr. Fighting each other, man. On that card, Isaac Cruz is going to fight Eduardo Ramirez. Jose Villanueva, I like him. Yeah, going to fight Jarrell Corrales. And this is the fight I don't want to see happen. Abner Mares.
Actually, Julius, real fast. Let me interrupt real fast.
Yes, sir.
Julius. You see, I'm such a fan of Venezuela. I think he could take Keyshawn right now just by his boxing ability, man. And I think what do I mean by that? I think he'll box. Hang on. I think he'll box a full fight because if Venezuela takes his best punches, I think those guys are headhunters, man. They didn't show me enough. I know they're the real deal. I know that, like Boots. I know that, but man, someone who has a complete game and a chin and a good corner, they'll take you all day, man. They'll take you all day. It would be like sparring with them. So
I think
careful
that's a fight that would get made if Keyshawn fought with PBC. I think PBC would have made that fight before a title fight for them guys. But, unfortunately, at Top Rank, they're not going to risk that guy fighting him. Now, I said earlier today, and I stick to it, I want to see Keyshawn Davis step up and fight Richard Commey. I mean, if you're not going to make him against another prospect, put him against an ex-champion. But also the fight that I don't want to see, Abner Mares against Miguel Flores. We had a conversation, Sebastian, a couple days back where I said I don't want to see Abner Mares because this man can't see.
Yeah.
This man can't. He started his career looking straight, and now he got one eye looking left and one eye looking right, and it just don't look right, man. And you know, it's
I hope
just
he loses just for his safety. Because if he wins, there's a good chance he'll be matched against Tank. So I hope he loses to Miguel Flores.
oh my god,
Everyone
man.
keeps saying that, Sebastian.
Nah, because they were originally gonna fight. They were originally gonna fight
Yeah.
until his injury came
Yeah.
in. And then
Yeah, but
the other lightweights are busy. So it's like
like who?
well, Haney, he has the contract. He has a contract with to do the.
We were never going to
Cambodia.
fight him. Talking about
Okay, what?
Tank, but go ahead.
Oh, well, what'd you say? I didn't hear that part.
I was saying we weren't gonna. That was smoke and mirrors. Haney was just doing it to keep his name out there because he knows who everyone knows in that division who they got to go to not only be tested, but to get to the what they call it in the MLB and hockey. They call it the show. To make the show, you got to go through Gervonta Tank Davis. So
see, that's the part
that's why
I personally don't agree with. I think it's got to be Haney.
That's okay.
If anybody wants to be the top dog, they got to see Haney because I think Haney has done because even though I may not be a fan of his style, but he's done everything that he could in his power to make the biggest fights happen. Like with Tank, I think with him because I think they were talking about Tank being a free agent or leaving Floyd Mayweather. But then he decided, I'm gonna just stick with Floyd and Leonard. So it's I don't know, beating Tank at 135 doesn't make you world champion, and it's I think that that's the biggest thing because Tank is not a champ, let alone the champ at 135 like Haney is.
I'll admit, sir, it's very difficult to really find out what's going on with these guys, but just everything that you mentioned. That was always talk, man. That was just fake news, and I'll prove it to you. For starters, Tank was never going to leave Floyd, and when I say Floyd, meaning he was never going to leave the Al Heyman banner. Those are his advisors. So, I'll even grant it. If he were to leave Floyd, he's still going to be with the PBC. Not to say that he didn't, test the Commonwealth, the people problems, where see what the people would say where he would want to go. But he was always going to stick over there, man. He's a very happy, rich man. He's a very wealthy man. Not when I say wealthy, he's making more money than some bigger weight guys. Secondly, I would say Devin. That whole Devin, when Tank called him out, he was only responding to what Devin was saying in the streets, per se. So when he did, he asked him very simply. Not even asked him. Eventually he asked him, but eventually what he said was all right, cool, man. Go handle what you got to do, and when you're free and available, we can get it on. And he was so sure about that he was like, all you got to do is leave the belt at the door and pick up a check at the end of the fight. Dang sure of it, man. And then there's that I call it disrespectful collateral damage, where Hank, you see, he's on that Floyd Mayweather dance where he's fighting a bunch of dudes with Hispanic last names and making really, really good money.
Steph, can I cut you off for a second, Steph? I want to address that. I'm sick of that. I just have to be honest. I'm sick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm sick of Tank Davis doing that. I'm sick of it, man. I can't even say it any louder. I'm sick of it, bro. Fight. Listen. Let's think outside the box. Leonard Ellaby is a heck of a guy, and I want to put that out there, man. He a good guy, man. You ever meet him, you're gonna say he's a good guy. And Leonard isn't making all the decisions there, which we all know. But
he's just promoted.
Yes, legacy means something. And
Yeah.
I think I get so sick of, in this, and I can't hate saying this era, but right now, I just say right now, it seems that guys are so thinking about the money. It is time for legacy fights for Tank
Yeah.
Davis. He's 27 years old, right?
28,
Right.
I think.
It's time
Okay.
for legacy fights. I
All
don't
right,
want to
all right.
see. I know that Tank Davis would fight these legacy fights. So it's time for him to listen. It's a fight out there for him where he'll have to move up a little bit. If he had to make this guy do a little catch weight, that'll be fine. But I think he would knock this guy out and would become an overnight star, even though he's already a star. Fight Keith Thurman. Have Keith Thurman meet you at a catch weight of 145, and let's go. And I got winning that fight.
And you know what? I personally talked to Calvin Ford in Chicken Talk interviews. He said that was on the table in the last. That was on the table the pandemic years during the Leo Santa Cruz time, and then it came back up again last year. What was I saying? So back to what I was saying real fast. And you're right. A lot of us, you know me, I'm a big Gervonta guy.
Yep.
I'm tired of that too. So let me kind of rewind back a little bit and go back to what I was saying with when he was testing the market per se, and he was seeing what the people were saying.
Right.
I think he got a little bit of taste of that. And frankly, if you listen to what Gervonta was saying, he's like, yeah, man, I'm at that point. So that's why he was saying things like, I don't need Floyd, and I'm ready to be on my own, be my, bootstraps and put my own pants up. So that's what I get from that. And I think a fresh start of fighting a new flavor of folks would be fighting the new crop of 135 pounders, or even slightly above in the next weight class in the coming times now.
Who would you like to see him fight next?
Go ahead, Sebastian. I'll let you answer first.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, who I want to see Tank Floyd fight next, either Shakur, Haney, Taylor.
I'm talking about a real, because right now we see how
Frank
everything's
Martin.
going.
Frank Martin.
The
Realistic.
thing with Frank Martin, he looks nice too, but like, what's separating Frank Martin and Rolly Romero? What's separating the two?
I think Frank can fight a little better than Rolly.
Besides the fact that Rolly lost recently, they both never fought a world champion. Okay. They both got like 15 fights more or less. They're prospects. Why do I want to see Tank fight prospects?
I understand that from that perspective. Okay.
Yeah. So
well, go ahead, Smash. I'm sorry.
So I was saying my last thought about the Floyd Leonard, how they kind of treat Tank. There's literally interviews where Leonard, because what I like about Leonard is that he's very honest. He's not gonna sugarcoat anything. He'll tell you what's on his mind. And this was for the Tank versus Barrios fight, and he was like, Tank fans don't know who Mario Barrios is. They don't know what belts a Tank fights for. They'll watch whoever Tank fights because he's the man, Right. And although he was true, and that's why he was like, that's why we don't need because this was back before Josh Taylor robbed Jack Catterall. He was like, we don't need Josh Taylor because who is Josh Taylor? Although Josh Taylor isn't popular, I figure he'd be more popular than Mario Barrios. And then what really sealed the deal was when Floyd also said that PBC, we're gonna stick with just PBC, and that's fine because Top Rank they kind of do the same thing, and so does the Zone. But what I think is happening is that Tank is gonna stick with just the PBC, unless if it's like I mentioned earlier, a contender. Like a no-hoper like Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia is trash. So, yeah, they'll try to make an offer for that because Ryan ain't good. But anybody else outside of that Top Rank like Shakur or Haney, nah, we're going to keep it just PBC. Unless you're Ryan Garcia and you're trash, then, yeah, we'll send you an offer. But that's how I kind of see things.
Right.
Okay. Right, well, go ahead. Who would you like to see him fight, Steph?
I got to say, Sebastian, I appreciate you again coming on the panel, man. New fresh, new flavor. New face.
It's always it's always good talking boxing. So
however, though, you asked me who I want him to see a fight. I think that'll be a good. I think it could be a good boxing match because Tank is he's so dang good, man, that I would enjoy watching him trying to figure out Frank Martin because it'd be real tough, man. And then opposing to your opinion, Sebastian, Frank's very solid, man. That dude can fight. That dude knows how to box, and he carries power. And he's one of those black athletes, man. So more the merrier there. But kind of back to what I was saying. So Tank got a little, he got a little taste of that. However, what I was going to say that, he's still signed with the PBC, so he's going to fight those crops guys, no matter what weight class it is. And that's even for the guys on Top Rank like Shakur and Haney currently right now, because just Shakur is speaking, or skip that. This kind of revolves around that whole business of boxing attitude. Look, man, Tank is blessed. He is in a spot where the majority, I would say 90% of boxers want to be. What is that? What I mean by that? What do you mean by that, Steph? Pay-per-view star. To be a pay-per-view star, you got to put butts in the seats. You got to sell those tickets. You got to sell those buys. And given how Showtime and Company, I keep looking at my dogs, Showtime and Company work things out, the way they do business, they're, I'll make sure those guys get their money on the back end very, very healthy, very, very haughty. So everyone else or anyone like Devin who wants to fight him, they're just going to have to eventually accept the deal that they're going to offer, because when it comes to pay-per-view, it's about who you know and what you did and what you hold, meaning what have you produced. That's no and ifs or buts, whether I like it, whether Julius likes it, whether you like it, Sebastian. That's what it is. Don't let anyone try to talk you out of that. That's what it is. If you're the man, that A side, B side stuff, it matters, man. Like Tank in fact, he's an anomaly, man, because he's doing numbers like Errol Spence. Tank's taller than you, Sebastian. That guy's like 5'4", 130 pounds, soaking wet. It's amazing. It's amazing. And he's knocking guys out like for real. Like he carries power like Deontay and Company.
I think Haney's getting his star power though. His purses are not bad, No.
Oh, okay, well I'll dissect that real fast. Back inside, Mama. Back inside. What's that? Yeah. So, see, I'm gonna keep it real blickety black on you right here, Sebastian. I'm gonna give you the secret right now. And this is what all of us want. Devin and his father signed with DAZN, and they negotiated a deal with DAZN and got paid up front very handsomely, man. And they were able to be supported, like their promotional company, Devin Haney Promotions, was getting supported by that. So he's been making a lot of good money, man. He's been paid handsomely. However, that's not pay-per-view money. Just because you have a large purse, because you have a large purse does not mean you're the man or a superstar. Hank literally takes a guarantee of $1 million or more, slightly over, say 1.5, something like that, and then you take those pay-per-view buys times or divide point percentage or whatever it needs to be broken down between who's got their hand in the pot, and then whatever's left over goes to Hank. So that's upwards to 10, 11, 12, and $13 million at times, man. It's a lot of money for a fighter, a prize fighter. And when I say that, like, that's a good thing, but that's what he's been able to accomplish. So whenever these guys get together and start negotiating, start talking on that talk, his lawyers are going to be like, all right, put your numbers up, put the data up. And they're going to go, you stole what? Okay, fine. This is what we'll offer you. That's how that system works, man, whether we like it or not. So back to Dev. Dev will get there. Yeah, he'll get there. I think he's on his way now because he signed with ESPN and getting the exposure, the necessary exposure. Time will tell. That's the real profit. So we'll see. I think what will really help him is the Lomachenko fight. So, I think so that will be next spring. That'll be Cinco de Mayo time around there. I think that will really, he could really come to the table.
You think he can hold lightweight that long?
Man, these damn mosquitoes.
I think he can right after the Loma fight, but then he'll have to move up right afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know if he can even make it another 12 months. He might want to make that Loma fight in January, February. That's what I was sitting here thinking. Like, he a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. Look, guys, we done went on for 2 hours and 5 minutes. I'm gonna give y'all the floor. Make one last statement this week. I'm sure I'm gonna be on a couple times this week. I'll let you know. But give me your last little comment about whatever, and and then I'll end the night. So go ahead, Sebastian. You go first.
Well, first, I'm very glad that I was invited to the show. It was very good speaking with you guys for the first time.
Yep. Thank you.
Appreciate the boxing dialogue. Not always in agreement, but seeing a perspective that's not my own is always refreshing to see. So
right.
I was looking forward to coming back soon.
Definitely, man. You definitely got a place here. Ain't no doubt about it. And there's others that be coming, and you're gonna find their conversations probably more interesting than ours. Trust me.
Yeah, enlightening, brother. Enlightening.
Yes.
Sebastian, where can I find you on social media, man? Are you on Twitter, boxing Twitter?
All right, I'm on Twitter. I'm gonna just post my ad right in the private chat, or I'll post my link. Twitter. I think I may have seen you on Twitter, maybe, probably.
I'm Clever Monroe. Well, that's me.
Wait, cleverly.
Yeah, Clever Monroe.
Oh,
no. Just clever. Like I was trying to be cute on this thing.
Oh, okay, clever. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a picture of me and my dad. That's me. You'll see me. No mustache though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julius, it's been a good Sunday, man.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
It's my favorite day. That's why I'm really glad you do this on this day. So
no doubt.
Sunday's my favorite day, man. It's Lord's Day. We're not supposed to do nothing but just hang out, relax, and talk a little boxing with our internet friends.
That's it, man.
And yeah, Sebastian, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Hope to see more of you yet. And good luck with boxing, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And your family, man.
Yep.
And your family.
And I love to see Steph, man. When he's up here and I get to see them palm trees in the background. I know I'm looking at sunny Southern California, man. But yeah, man, look, another great day, man. Appreciate y'all coming on. Sebastian, we always be hitting each other up on Twitter, man. But you know what I'm saying? And I don't know why. I just never even thought about saying, hey, you want to come on the show? I never thought about it. Wasn't trying to be funny. But I love to get in here, man. We all get a chance to talk and ain't no arguing, because trust me, and part of the reason letting you know that I wanted to get my own is because Steph will tell you can go on some shows, man, and people be arguing and fussing and cussing each other out and just going crazy. And I always sat and said, you know what? If I could get mine, I ain't got no beefs. I believe we can talk, bring everybody from every walk of life, and we just talk boxing, man. And it'll be good. So I also do basketball, man. But so I'll be doing Georgetown shows and stuff like that. So you'll be here, you'll be seeing me, and you'll be like, "Oh, Julius live. Oh, he doing basketball tonight." So you'll be seeing that as well. But look, man, I appreciate y'all guys, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
Real quick, wait, is this
go ahead.
Is this show like are you made like a YouTube series, or is it like regular conversation? Like
what? Oh man, I don't know if it's a YouTube series, you could call it, but bro,
you have a YouTube? Because
I'm on YouTube. It's I'll put it in the comments, and you can go back and watch all my stuff, man. That's it right there.
Wait, hold on. I gotta get. Sebastian, did you put your stuff in there?
J Street
I followed you on Twitter.
That's what it is.
Okay, word.
Exactly what it is. J Street Sports, man. Just pull that up, subscribe, like. That's for everybody up there. And look, man, and just go back and watch all the videos. You'll see me and Steph and other guys talking boxing, whatever, man. And I don't know if it's a series, but I just try to put up as much material as I can, man. And just, because normally this would be a conversation that I would be thinking about in my brain, because like y'all, you can't talk boxing every day to everybody. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure that I would have millions of friends if I talk love and hip hop and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Or if I came over here talking relationship talks, you know what I'm saying?
Right? That stuff.
Yeah, I would have plenty of friends or whatever. But yeah, man. So this is my, one of my love, which is sports. And and also I'm a tennis guy. I'm all that. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. The US Open is going on. So I'm gonna be all over.
Is that starting tomorrow?
It starts tomorrow at 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock your time.
You know what? I'm off tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow,
okay.
So I'm gonna watch that. I'm
gonna
pull up.
Man.
I'm gonna pull up.
Start tomorrow, and definitely looking forward to that. This is also Serena Williams' swan song, and so I'm gonna be doing a series on the greatest American athletes. I'm gonna do one on that. I don't know if it's gonna be a series. I shouldn't have said a series, but I'm gonna have a discussion, and I'm gonna be inviting people on. We're gonna talk about greatest American athletes and of all time. So it's not gonna be just boxing, it's gonna be anything. You know what I'm saying? If you want to throw a horse in there, you can. Yeah. So we're gonna be, saying that. But yeah, man. So like I said, I like to have fun up here, man. And
you should invite I think because you follow the Adams Boxing Show, the two brothers.
Oh yeah, we talk all the time, man, because they got family in in North Carolina, man, and we talk all the time. And those brothers are gonna be coming on when I do the show in regards to boxers from the South and their contributions to the sport, and they're gonna be coming on. I respect them guys. Every time they put up one of those mythical matchups, I'm always in there tweeting with them. So
they're really nice.
Yeah, I like them guys, man. So definitely, I would love for them to come on. And they've got the invite, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, guys. Hey, buddy, what's up, man?
That's the mom right there.
Oh, that's the mom. What's her name?
That's mom. That's two off. That's Kira.
Okay.
Like Kira Knightley.
Kira Knightley.
Aura over there, and Cleopatra way over there.
Cleopatra. Okay.
Yeah.
I see you, Steph. All right, brother. Y'all take care, man. Look, have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good week this week. Make plenty of money. Be safe.
Good week.
Yes.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all take care. All right.
That'd be cool.
Take care. Later. Peace.
All right, man. And look, Steph. Oh man, Steph went out while I was talking. All right, guys.